Okay, ladies, Facebook is not being my friend today. So I'm really sad that you couldn't see or couldn't hear the Facebook Live. I am going to go through everything real quick again. I'm about to go on a camping trip. So if you have any questions about this that you want me to dive deeper into, just comment below or message me, whatever. And I'm more than happy to do a deep dive in a future training on that. But I decided just to go ahead and do this recording because Facebook is, I don't know what's going on with Facebook. Okay, so I know some of you in the group, I don't know all of you. So I'm Ray, you can call me Rachel, I go by both. And my background is in program development, business management, systems and processes. That's my jam. I love project management. So really that business side of your business, so not necessarily like the marketing side, is where I really thrive. So if you do have issues or questions with any of that, I'm always here to help. So today I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about organizing your workplace or your workspace for productivity and focus, and kind of go through why it's important and why I consider it a business foundation, and then some steps you can start taking to get to where you want to be. Now, a lot of what I talk about today will apply to both your physical workspace and your digital workspace. There are some specific things that I have just for your digital workspace that I will touch on a little bit later in this training. Now, a lot of people think it's not that important. Like, as long as my computer's working, I can, jump on, I can do my lives, I can post to social media. Like, why does it matter the space that I'm working in, right? Well, let's think about when you go to a hotel. Let's say it's a nice hotel. How do you feel when you walk in? Okay. What does your body feel like? Do you feel calm and just like, oh, this is nice, I can just relax? Okay. And now think about if you came home from work or came home from, a meeting or something, and the kids have they've had a ton of fun today, but stuff is everywhere. There's art supplies on the table. There's just toys all over in the living room. There's a sink full of dishes. Do you still feel that same calm and relaxation that you would feel if you walked into that nice hotel room? And most likely you don't. Most likely you're just feeling like stressed and anxious, and like you're like, oh, I just have so much to do. I don't want to do this. I just wanted to come home and relax, right? So we want to create that sense of relaxation, that calmness that we experience when we walk into a nice hotel room for our business. Because when we show up on a live, we show up on a one-on-one client call, we want to show up, excuse me, confident and proud of what we're doing, because people are going to immediately sense it. And if you show up and you're chaotic, they're gonna be like, okay, it's nice to meet you, but they're probably not gonna move forward with working with you because you didn't present who you truly are. And so by having this organized, intentional workspace, it allows us to show up as who we want to be and who we're meant to be. Now, when we're organized, we do have that reduced stress, reduced anxiety, but we're also more productive because we know where things are. So let's say I know some of you are still working a 9 to 5. Maybe you have an hour a night that you're focusing on your business. You have to really make that hour work for you. And you don't want to spend 15 minutes trying to find something, trying to find that product or that sample for the live, or spend time scrolling through your Google Drive being like, I wrote all these captions and I had it ready, but I have no idea where it is, right? So when we're organized, we have that hour and we have our plan and we know where everything is. So we are going to utilize that hour to our fullest ability. And like I mentioned earlier, it's going to enhance our self-esteem and our confidence. We're going to show up to whatever we're doing with a sense of self-care, just, I guess, personal pride. We're going to be proud of our business, proud of who we are, proud of what we're able to accomplish. And that's going to come through in every single thing you do. Now, it also is going to promote creativity. And it doesn't matter what type of business you are running, there is some aspect of creativity within your business, whether it's making a strategic plan for where you're going, or it's designing graphics on Canva. There is some form of creativity within your business. Now, when we're in a calm space, a very organized, calm space, our brains are not cluttered, right? And because if it's a cluttered space, it's a cluttered brain. Uncluttered space equals an uncluttered brain. And in order to be creative, we need to have that space for ourselves to allow the creativity. We want to be able to focus on what we're doing. We're not being distracted by all this stuff, because it is distracting. Even if you're used to it, you're just not realizing the distraction it is causing within your work, right? It's really cool to see once you start creating the space for yourself, that productivity that comes out, and you're like, oh, wow, like I didn't realize how much I wasn't getting done before, or how bad I was feeling. When you start feeling better, that's just, it's a cool thing to see when people start focusing on this as a business foundation. So when we look at our physical workspace, we can become overwhelmed. We don't know what to start with first. And the first thing I want you to do is start looking around, figure out, whether it's your home office, it's your dining room table, it's that a desk in your bedroom, wherever it is, you'll have to figure this out on your own, because it's going to depend on the space available, your own personality, your own productivity style. But I want you to start setting goals for this space. Let's say there's an area you don't want to look at because it's just a hot mess. I want you to look at it and decide your goal for that space. What could that space be for you? Or, you have all these product samples. Make a goal for how you want to organize them, or what, how are you going to utilize them? Maybe you do utilize them, maybe you don't, but just start being specific and journal out your goals for your space. What do you want it to feel like? How do you want it to, go with your workflow throughout the day? And as you write that out, it's just going to help you throughout these steps. Now, the next step, what we're going to do, is probably the hardest for people. And I think it's hard for anyone, regardless if they're doing, their office workspace, their bedroom, or anything. And this is to start decluttering. So as you declutter, I want you to go back to the goals and see if the things in the space align with the goals you have for this space. And you're going to make bins. You're going to have your keep bin. So what do you need? Make sure it has a purpose, it's being utilized. That goes in the keep bin. Then you're going to have a discard bin. So a lot of us have just like papers we printed off, or junk mail, or who knows what it is. This is when we just need to say, we don't need this. I'm not actually going to utilize it, or I don't know where it came from, and just start recycling that stuff away, because we want to move as much as possible out of our space so that we can truly have it organized. Maybe you have a donate bin. If there's some stuff that you're like, it's so cute, I love it, but I don't utilize it. I don't need it. I saw it on Pinterest or Amazon or whatever, and I thought it was cool. It just doesn't work for me. Go ahead and donate it, or put it in your Buy Nothing group, however you want to pass it along to your community. I find that sometimes it's easier to let go of things we don't need when we realize it's going to help someone else. If you come across things that you're just not sure on, or you don't utilize it, but you still have that emotional attachment, go ahead and just put it in an undecided pile, a little bin. But I want you to put it on your calendar when you're going to go back through it. So as you go through this organization process, as you start to experience what a clean and organized workspace does for your business, then I want you to go back and look at that undecided pile and, really decide, does this have a purpose for me? Does it have a purpose for my business? How is it going to impact my business? Is it going to increase my productivity, increase my focus, help me feel better, right? And if it doesn't, then you really don't need it. We can just become very attached to items. And so sometimes we just need to have, this bin that we let ourselves think about it. But if you didn't need it, let's say you put that date a month out and you forgot it was in that bin, or you never used it, most likely it's something that you need to pass along. And then so once we have everything organized, I want you to really do a deep clean, because it's just going to also help us feel better, right? When we walk in, it's like that hotel I talked about. Everything is wiped down. There's not dust or like sticky something from the kids. Everything is just nice and clean. We're just going to feel good. And we want to feel good when we're working. So now we have our bins, right? So what are we going to do with them? I want you to figure out how you're going to organize them. How are things going to be categorized? And this is really dependent on your business and what, like I said before, some people have more paper files, some people have product samples. So just figure out how are they categorized and how do you want to systematize them together. Maybe you have a filing cabinet, maybe you have bins, or the little cube structure things, and you have your products in there. Just kind of make a plan of how you want to have things available for your use, but organized. Now, so let's say we went through all this. We set our goals, we decluttered, we cleaned, and now everything is kind of put away, it's systematized. The biggest thing here is to make sure that you're making this part of your routine. Now, for me, I do this daily just because every morning when I come to or I start working, I like things to just be ready and clean and fresh. And that's my personality. So every night when I'm done working, I clean everything up. I don't wipe everything down every day. That's more of a weekly task for me. But what you need to decide is how often are you going to declutter? How often are you going to clean your desk? And put it on your calendar and make a priority, because you don't want to do all this work 3 months later, have to be like, well, now I got to go declutter again. Now I got to reorganize everything again. But everything should have a place. So at the end of your day, it's just easy to put it back. You know exactly where it goes. It shouldn't take you more than like 2 minutes just to reorganize everything, because those 2 minutes each day are going to make a huge difference in how you feel. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit on digital organization. If you guys have questions, let's go ahead and break this down more in a future training, because this one I think is a really big one, especially as you grow as a business owner. And that's the importance of digital organization. So as you bring on, let's say you hire a VA, and it's dependent on your business that you're running. But, most people, when they get to a certain point, they are going to have a VA on their team. And if you're brand new, and this is, you're just now launching your business, you're at a great spot really to start this. If you're further along in your business, you're going to have to make this something that you slowly work on, because it does take a lot of work to kind of go back and try to do this when you have a lot built out already. Now, most of us all have a Google Drive. Maybe you're in OneDrive, but I suspect you all have a Google Drive. What I want you to do is have every single file that you create in a Google folder. So nothing should be just randomly created in your Google Drive. Okay. So if you make something and it doesn't apply to a folder you've created, that means you need a new folder. So maybe you have a finances folder. Maybe that's where you put all your receipts. Within that financer folder, you should have a receipts folder. And then in the receipts folder, you want to have a year folder, just because the more organized we are, we're not spending time trying to go in and be like, I have no idea where this file is. It's going to streamline your processes, and it's going to save you a lot of time. So you might have a finance folder, maybe you have a marketing folder. If you have a team, you're going to have a team folder, or, kind of like a human resources folder. So your business will determine what kind of folders you have. If you're doing a launch, you're going to have a folder just for that launch. If you do a lot of launches, you might have, a main launch folder, and then within that have subfolders for each launch. But it's really important that every file that you create has somewhere to go, because so much time is wasted when it comes to like the disorganization of digital files. Now, this also applies to how you are naming your files. So when you create a Google Doc, be very intentional with how you name it. Let's say I'm doing social media captions. I'm going to say like social media captions, July 2023, or something like that, right? Or if I do an email, it's going to be the same type of thing, because when someone searches it on my team or even myself, I want it to immediately pop up and it not be confusing what that file is, or it not be difficult for them to find. I mean, they should be able to go to marketing emails 2023 July and find it, but maybe they want to search it and I want it to immediately pop up for them. So the biggest things here with your Google Drive is to have a folder for everything. Nothing, no files live outside of folders, and just be very intentional with how you name it. Now, when you are naming these, I want you to also be consistent. Figure out a naming style that works for you and consistently name them that way. That way, when you hire a VA, it's super clear for them, right? They know how to go look for this. And not only do I want them to know how to look for it, I also want them to know how to create files and name them themselves, right? And I might do another training later, we'll see, on kind of diving deeper into this whole Google Drive organization and how it's going to benefit you. So the next thing is email management. And email can be a time suck, regardless of who you are. Even for people who don't have businesses, email can be a time suck. We sign up for all these freebies, and we'll touch on freebies in a minute here. But you like log in, let's say you have that, let's go back to the 9 to 5 person who's 1 hour a night to really work on their business. You don't want to be spending that like 15 minutes of that just going through promotional emails. So the first task here I have for you is to start unsubscribing. Do you read their email? If it's no, unsubscribe. Even if you're like, I delete it all the time. No, I want you to unsubscribe, because every time you have to go in and delete stuff, it's time taken from when you could be productive on your business. Now, we all have a few people who we really like to follow. That's fine. If you read their email, you find what they're doing valuable, you like following them, stay on their email list. But if you are not utilizing what they're sending out, unsubscribe. And what I want you to do here is also with freebies. So those freebies you signed up for, if you're not utilizing the freebie, delete it. Okay. You could have a Google Drive folder for, the freebies you really like or you're utilizing with your business. Great. But if I think most of us sign up for hundreds of freebies, or at least a lot of people do, and we don't do anything with them. Right. So now we have these digital files we're not using, and we're on an email list. So this is an opportunity to just kind of start decluttering our email inbox. Now, when you are signed up for freebies, just think about it, because it does create more tasks for you to have to either decide you're going to read everything they send and find it valuable, or it's just going to take more time to, remove it from your system. Now, in regards to emails, for my business, I have a 0 inbox policy. And what this is that every night my inbox is clear. So I don't have anything in there. And it takes a while to get to that point. But the reason I like this is because I have looked at everything, and everything has been filed away. Everything has been handled and responded to. And it's just another way for me to manage my work. And then the next day, everything is new again. And so this also helps to make sure I'm not missing things. Let's say you have leads coming in, or you had a new purchase. Those are things you don't want to miss. And when you have thousands of, for one thing, unread emails in your inbox, or just all this promotional email coming in, it's really easy to miss an important email. And as business owners, we need to be on top of any kind of notifications coming through our businesses, any kind of client related items. And so the less that we have coming in, the easier it is for us to make sure we really are attending to the things we need to attend to. Another thing that kind of goes along with your digital organization is a project management system. I'm not going to talk about that right now. If that is something you guys are interested in learning more about, let me know. But this is just kind of more about organizing your workspace. But project management software is something that can help you organize your workspaces. Okay, so let's see here. Now, I kind of wanted to go back and talk a little bit more about your physical workspace and some other things to consider. Lighting. So a lot of people don't think about where they have their home office, because for me, my home office is my basement, but we have these lovely fluorescent lights. They came with the house. Who knows? They're probably from like the 80s or something. And when I first started working in my new office, I started getting headaches. And so I was like, oh, it probably is my screens or, whatever. So I got the blue light glasses and the headaches continued. And I was like, I don't know what's going on here. What it ended up being was this fluorescent light right above my desk. And so what I did is I got this, cheap tapestry on Amazon and just hung it up safely. It's fire safe to cover the fluorescent light so that I didn't have those direct lights right into my eyes and my headaches were gone. So I just want you to consider where your office is and what kind of lighting you have. It's really great to have natural light coming in. Obviously, if you're working at night, that's not applicable as much, but windows are really helpful. You do want to make sure that your space is well lit, so you're alert when you're working, especially if you're on calls. People need to see you. You don't want to be super dark. So just consider what type of lighting do you have in your workspace. And you can, Google search that if you are looking for a specific type of light. There's tons of resources out there on that. So what I want to kind of task you guys with, we can say next week, is just to start journaling your goal for your workspace. So what do you want it to look like? And, what kind of organization makes you feel good? Like I mentioned at the hotel, go to IKEA, go walk, or if you have an IKEA, or even just look at Pinterest. What type of workspace just makes you feel good? And that doesn't mean you need to go buy anything, but it will kind of signal to you what type of organization style looks good to you. And you might have some things that you have around the house that can kind of start creating that space for yourself. Also, look at personalizing your workspace. So just like you would have an office in a corporate setting, people have pictures of their kids. They have little things that are cute. I mean, you don't want too much, but personalize it so it feels like it's yours. Because when we start to personalize our space, we're going to show up with ownership. And when we have ownership of a space, it's going to lead to that confidence and that joy, which is going to come through in everything we do. So journal your goals, figure out what kind of space works for yourself, and then start making a plan. When are you going to declutter? When are you going to, or like, how are you going to continue that decluttering? Whether it's every night I'm going to clear my workspace, or every week on Friday, I'm just going to clear everything out, do a wipe down, whatever that looks like for you, start putting that into your calendar. So it's something that it's intentional and it's important for you. I do promise as you start doing this, you are going to feel a difference in how you're working, but you do have to be intentional. And make sure it's something that you do, keep up with. So let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like me to do more of a deep dive in. I'm here for you guys, and I'm so excited for this group. So excited all of you are here. I would love to see your workspaces. So if you want to take a picture of what your current workspace looks like and throw it in the group, that would be wonderful. But otherwise, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks.